So if you guys haven't heard for like the 50th time by now, I am starting a Forever Savefile in The Sims because pretty much the latest update bricked all of my existing saves. So we're going to be starting The Sims 4 from scratch. So in today's video, we're going to be prepping everything together, everything that needs to be set up before I start my Forever Savefile, all my MC Command Center settings, any planning. I want to show you all the spreadsheets that I've got, all my Pinterest boards. Obviously, I'm a huge perfectionist when it comes to anything in my life, but especially when it comes to Sims. So I want to show you everything that I've had planned already. And then pretty much we're going to build it all together. So the way that this series is going to work is it'll be a combination of streams and YouTube videos. So sometimes if we're going to do a build or we're going to make over Sims, I might do it on stream. I might turn the streams into YouTube videos in case you guys don't have time to watch the entire thing back. Sometimes for gameplay, we'll do it as an actual YouTube video where I'll record it, separately to streaming and edit it and upload it for you guys. So speaking of gameplay, the way that I'm going to do this is, first of all, for the first few episodes, we're going to be doing like setting up of like giving Sims makeovers, making them, adding in community lots, just getting the world sort of fleshed out. And then I'm going to be doing a rotational series, which is basically going to mean that I'm going to play with a bunch of different families all in one neighborhood. So think about a TV show or a movie where you regularly switch to different characters. You kind of see the story more so from their perspective. That's the idea that I've got in mind. We're going to basically go around the entire neighborhood, making all of our drama and our stories and our chaos across every single Sims family, which just to me sounds incredible. Now, obviously, we're going to be starting off with Willow Creek. Now, I've already got an aesthetic in mind for Willow Creek. In The Sims, Willow Creek is actually already inspired by New Orleans. So a lot of the architecture that you see in the background of the world and things is New Orleans. And I'm actually going to be matching the New Orleans aesthetic when it comes to like the community lots, also the houses and the infrastructure in general that is going to be around the town. I'm also going to be using Toolmod to update each world as well. So with Toolmod, you can actually go and place objects. You're not specifically restricted to just inside the world plot. So let's go ahead and jump into my idea that I've got for New Orleans. I want to show you what I imagine for each neighborhood. I've got it all written down on a spreadsheet and planned. So yeah, let me just go ahead and show you it. So this is the plan that I have for Willow Creek right now. It might change, obviously, but it's just a work in progress. So this is what I imagine Willow Creek is going to look like. So let me just run you through everything. This area down here is the commercial strip, and all of the lots I'm going to be using in this section are by Raya28. So I am not the best builder when it comes to The Sims 4. My skill is not in building in The Sims 4, okay? I love making Sims and I feel like my Sims turn out pretty good, but builds, I'm awful at. So I am going to be building some lots for this save file, but honestly, most of them are going to be lots that I either download or get off the gallery and then renovate myself. So this area right here, you can see I've got kind of an idea in mind. I've got some residential rentals that I want to put here. I want to do 3 in a row. And this is actually where I think they're called the BFF household, the actual in-game Max's household, are going to live in one of these 3 houses. This area in general, I kind of want it to be more of a low income area. So it's not going to be as well taken care of. There's going to be it's just generally going to be dirtier, I kind of want it to be the more like dingy area of the world, because I normally find that in The Sims 4 in general, everything just looks so clean and perfect. And I need some like dirt, grime and disgustingness when it comes to my game. These are all going to be New Orleans, I believe they're called shotgun styled houses. So I've got some ideas in mind. I've saved some Pinterest things, and I've also been on Google Maps to like find neighborhoods actually in New Orleans that represented this. So I've got some pictures saved for things like that. So if I can't find any houses on the gallery or to download on Tumblr or anything, then prepare yourselves, because I'm gonna have to do it myself. So all the rest of the houses at the back, these are going to be actual houses. And then this lot right here, I was thinking we could do a rundown pool and a laundromat sort of combined together. But this area back here, this is actually where the pancakes normally live. And I think they live in this house right here. This area is more of like the middle class area. And I was thinking most of it was going to be residential housing, and then there was going to be a restaurant at the back. I kind of had an idea in mind that eventually this restaurant would be renovated or taken over by Bob Pancakes. In America, you guys have like breakfast restaurants. We have them in the UK, but they're not like as big of a thing. And I was thinking we could do like a restaurant similar to that for Bob Pancakes. But obviously he's very lazy. So whether he ever ends up going and opening up a restaurant there, I don't know. This area at the back here, this is the upper class area of Willow Creek. So this is going to be biggest mansions. It's going to look incredible. It's just going to be clean, aesthetic. Anyone that lives there obviously is going to have to be fairly wealthy. So obviously the goths normally live here. So I'm going to be keeping my favorite OG families in Willow Creek. So anything that Maxis has made, but obviously they'll be getting full CC makeovers, full like personality makeovers, lore makeovers. They might even end up moving to this larger plot right here. In this area, I've also placed a cemetery. I imagine that this was a cemetery that was built for the Goths, but ended up becoming like the communal neighborhood cemetery. Maybe the mayor asked the Goths if they would open up their cemetery for, you know, the entire neighborhood. And that was kind of the lore that I was imagining there. We also have a park in the middle. Of course, you need a park with such a large lot. And I also want a lot of the families to go over there as well. Back here is where the Spencer Kim Lewis family, I think they are supposed to live. And this is normally a really big house. I think I'm going to leave that where it is and keep that like that. But this plot right here, which is actually one of the biggest plots in Willow Creek, it's as big as the park to the right of it. I actually want to turn this into an elementary school because I actually have a mod called Zerbu's Go to School mod. You can actually go to school with kids and you need a custom venue, an elementary school to do that. So this is the current plan for Willow Creek that I have gone ahead and written down. I've gone ahead and described what I want each world to look like or to be. Obviously I've got the lower class, middle class, upper class. This is obviously the commercial strip. I've got an idea in mind of the items that I want to use around the world. And these are the first 4 confirmed lots. They're all by Raya28 and they do also use CC, but luckily me and Raya share the exact same CC. So I shouldn't need to download too much to be able to get these lots to work. And if I am missing any CC, I can just go in and replace it myself. The other thing that I wanted to show you guys is my overall Savefile plan. And these are all the custom lots that I either want to build myself or go in and find someone who's made a version of them and renovate them and add them to the world. I have a lot of different stores. You can see I've got IKEA, Whole Foods, Target, Hooters. I know all of these actually have their own CC sets by Simcoos, and I know Simcoos also made some CC versions of these lots, so I'm going to use those. I've also got an idea in mind for a dinosaur/history museum, and any mods that I've got that I know would work in these lots, I've actually gone ahead and listed it. So I've actually got a dinosaur museum CC set by Similar, and also I'm making a list of creators at the bottom that I'm going to be using in the save file. So if you guys have any suggestions for lot creators, CC or no CC, I don't mind. Go ahead and let me know so I can add them to this, so I can search their galleries when I'm looking to place down lots for the world. Okay, and the very last thing that I need to show you guys, sorry, I'm very much overwhelming you with all of this, is the actual save file template. I downloaded this by Rosanna Text. This is pretty much a save file planner, and how freaking cool is this, okay? This is a full tracker, so you can keep track of everything that you have done, everything that you've worked on so far. It shows you all the lots that you've done, all the lots that you haven't done. It also shows you how many of each lot type you've got. The same with community lots, the same with the careers. It lets you keep track of each world and the lots that you have completed and the status of completion for them. This to me is just, oh, I love it. Honestly, I'm obsessed with a tracker. I just love spreadsheets and tracking software to let me know that I am working towards a goal and I can log how close I am or how further progressed I am to that. The only thing with this tracker is currently there's no modded options, so I'm probably going to have to add those in myself. This has only got all of the default EA careers, but I have a bunch of CC careers that I'm going to be using installed, so I want to add these in here as well. I need to figure out how the spreadsheet works to see if I can edit it myself. We'll see if I can track all my 60 stuff. Maybe I won't be able to. Maybe I just have to type in like custom or something. I don't know. Right, so the first thing that I want to do is set up a bunch of custom MC Command Center settings. The reason why I'm going to be doing this is because MC Command Center normally has story progression features, which makes it so that if you're playing a household, all the other households in the world will progress through their lives. They'll start having babies, which eventually for this save file, I do want. But whilst I'm playing in it and I'm playing rotationally and setting up each world, I don't want any other Sims or all the other worlds aging or progressing, because basically the way it's going to work is I'm only going to be playing in Willow Creek to begin with. So I really don't want any of the other worlds progressing. I want to be able to get to those and play those in a state where they are like basically from their start as well. Does that make sense? So the first thing we need to do is turn off all story progression, turn off aging, and basically any MCC settings that's going to do anything without me controlling it. So the thing that we're going to do for this is we're going to be using Pleasant Sims rotational gameplay settings. I'm going to be copying these settings that Pleasant Sims uses just so that I can turn everything off accurately, and then any other custom settings I want to set up. So let's jump into the game and do that together. Oh wait, hold on, I didn't even see this. Look at this overall override that I've got for my Sims screen. That's so cute. Right, so I'm gonna shift click on the PC to bring up MC Command Center. Right, I think the way that I'm gonna start off is resetting all my settings back to default, which is honestly a very scary thing because I literally have so many custom settings, but I think it's probably the best way to go. Reset all settings, and I'm gonna have to restart my game. So I'm gonna save, go restart my game, come back, and then we will go through and basically restart my MC Command Center from scratch together. Okay, right, I restarted the game, so we should be able to, what in the fucking world is going on with Yuki? Is this Enchanted by Nature? I fucking hate that pack so much. MC Command Center, let's go through and follow all of Pleasant Sims settings together. So first of all, there's a bunch of settings in gameplay settings, which I think is in here. I do want to come back and change game time speed. Obviously, it's normally set to 25 by default, but normally I run between 35 and 50 because I like my days to be much longer in The Sims. I feel like I can get everything done. So I'll come back to that when I need to. Okay, this is where I think I'm going to have to change most of the settings. So allow team parenting, I'm going to enable that. I think everything in here should basically be turned off. Like everything should be on 0%. The percentage change applied to, yeah, okay, so that's on 0%. We want everything on 0 so that doesn't autonomously happen. I find automatically it is so easy to make friends and to get into relationships in The Sims. I just think you could like basically speedrun it in a day, which I get the idea of that, but I just don't think it's very realistic. So what I'm going to do is set the friendship difficulty adjustment to be higher. Every negative percent is minus 10%. So minus 10 is 100% slower. I think I want it to be like 200% slower, which I know sounds like a really high amount, but realistically, I think that Sims, like they can become friends with people way too quickly. I'm going to set it to minus 20 for now. I might end up changing it, but I think minus 20 is a good amount to go for. And I'm going to do the same with romance. Okay, now this is relationship culling. This will enable the game to delete relationships. Okay, so according to Pleasant Sims, they've got their relationship culling turned off completely. So they've got it on bypass. So I'm going to do the same thing. Pleasant Sims does have some settings turned on for paying child support, but I actually have other mods that do all of that child support type of stuff. So I'm going to leave that on, whatever it is by default. Okay, the only thing that I do want to change is inheritance, so that if any Sim dies, then they will leave their household funds to their spouse or their child, depend on the Sim that is dying. So I think I'm going to set this to all Sims. Okay, I do want to make sure I enable full edit cast mode because I always use that all the time. So these are all the notifications. So these will tell me if any Sims in the world are doing anything autonomously. So just to make sure that all these settings that I'm applying are working and no other townies are progressing in their life without me telling them to, I'm going to turn all on. Technically speaking, no other Sims should be dying, having birthdays, everything like that. No, I shouldn't get any of these messages come up. So not only do I need to turn off all MC Command Center settings, I'm also going to need to turn off all neighborhood story settings because EA has actually implemented their own kind of story progression to townies so that if you have neighborhood stories on, all the townies will also progress. So I do need to make sure I turn that off as well. In relationship settings, the only things that I should have turned on is allow team parenting and bypass relationship culling. Okay, use parent skin details. So if they have any freckles, moles, and face creases, that will apply to their kids. I want that on. And bypass blue babies. I'm going to set this on as well. I don't want any random colored babies. So let's just do enabled. This will stop them from being blue, green, or purple, which I like to keep my game as accurate as possible. So we'll do that. So MC career should be set so that it's enabled. So none of my played Sims will have any problems with that. Okay, university difficulty adjustment. I always make my Sims universities way harder. For now, I'm going to do minus 10, which I know sounds like a lot. It's like 2 times as hard, basically. But I really do find that university is just way too easy to get like A stars in. So I'm just going to do 2 times the difficulty. Neighborhood cleaner. I want to bypass family ghosts. If a Sim has been marked as cold by The Sims 4, delete them from the game, disabled. I don't want any Sims to be deleted. So this relationship cleaner shouldn't even happen because we turned off the ability to clean relationships up in the earlier settings. So that shouldn't even apply. Sim cleaner, sync married names we want on. This is basically to say if a Sim ages up what age do you want them to have like their facial hair applied? Do you want to have a chance of them having facial hair at young adult, and elder? I'm going to say yes to all three. Right, so I'm doing an experiment, and according to Google, 69% of young men in the UK have some form of facial hair, with a beard and moustache being the most common style. Let's do 40%. 40% of my young adults will have some form of beardage, and then we can obviously customize it when they age up anyways. With adults, it's normally 54%. So you know what? I think 50% is probably good. Elders found that 31%. So yeah, let's just do 30%. So we go 40, 50, 30. So that works out pretty well. Okay, this is where I need this to be fixed. Okay, replace situation outfits. This needs to happen, okay? Because I hate the situation outfits. They normally generate the ugliest fucking outfits ever. Basically, what this setting is changing, you know, for the Sims that walk around the world, for example, when you're in city living, there's city walk-bys, or say, for example, you are at the Spice Festival and these Sims turn up wearing the most fucking atrocious outfits. This will replace those outfits with something else. So I basically want to change every single outfit to be replaced. So all my city walk-bys, I'm going to have them wear their everyday outfits. If Sims are going to go out on a date, I mean, it kind of depends on where the date is, but I'm going to say if Sims are going to go out on a date, I kind of imagine them wearing their party wears. For rent street does that mean they're just lounging around on the street? Okay, if they're just lounging around on the street, let's just go every day, because I don't really know what that means. If Sims are going to the Humour Festival, let's say every day. If Sims are walking around in Island Living, let's say every day as well. Okay, if Sims are turning up to the Romance Festival, let's have them wear their party wear outfits. If they're going to the thrift store, we want every day as well. If Sims are going to go and do anything in the university situations, we'll also say every day. Okay, for now, I'm not going to touch MC occults. I normally don't play with occults, but obviously, if I am making an entire save file, I probably will end up making some of the occult worlds. And, you know, if I ever do want to play any legacy challenges that have occults in them, I will need to play with them. So for now, they're just going to stay as default, but we'll come back to them. We're moving on to the most important categories that need to be adjusted, which is MC population, MC pregnancy, and MC woohoo. So let's start with population. First of all, in moving settings, we want to allow homeless move-in to be set to disabled. We don't want any of them doing that. Okay, this is the chance that a homeless sim will be able to move into an apartment. I don't know if this will actually apply since we turned the setting off completely, but I'm just going to say 0% just in case. So one other thing that I do want to do, this is population settings. So this is basically if a townie needs to be spawned in, which sometimes happens, and you need an NPC that's going to like work at a bar or that's going to serve your sim food at one of those like stalls. What I want to do is say, don't generate any sims unless they're from my gallery, and I've specifically allowed you to generate them. This makes it so that if any sims are generating in, they will 100% be a sim that I saved to my gallery that I have allowed to spawn in. I also want to say that only sims that I have tagged to be included will spawn in. Okay, so enable or disable bar night. So I normally turn off every bar night but guys night, singles night, and ladies night. So I don't want any ghosts turning up, don't want any knights turning up, I don't want any aliens or bears. So this is maximum sims in a zone. So this is specifying the maximum amount of sims that can be spawned in a zone. By default, this is set to 20. I definitely want this to be higher. I think 20 is so limited. I'm probably going to do like 40. I especially like it when I have my sims on a nightclub lot. I want a bunch of sims there. I want it to feel busy and bustling. So I'm going to do 40 right now, but we might have to adjust it. Okay, next up, this is the biggest one. So we want to turn off everything related to MC pregnancy. I don't want any sims autonomously getting pregnant. Any of my sims that I'm playing with autonomously getting any other sims pregnant. Marriage percent. So I want this set to 0. I don't want any random marriages happening at all. This is basically MC Command Center saying, hey, look, I'll just randomly marry these two people, which is fine. I just don't want that happening at all. So all of those have to be set to 0. Allow pregnancy aging. I always have this turned on so that sims still age while they're pregnant. Okay, pause on playable labor. When a non-active played household has a sim going into labor, a message will pop up. I do want this just in case playing with another sim and another sim in my rotation gets pregnant and is about to give birth. I want this to be turned on. Okay, pregnancy duration is really hard because I want my sims to be pregnant long enough where I feel like I can do everything with them, especially with all the pregnancy mods that I've got. I don't want it to be too long where I feel like they're pregnant for ages. Let's do pregnancy on 2 weeks. It might be really long, and honestly, I might have to come in and reset this and turn this down. 14 days might be really, really long, but I think 14 days is a good amount of time where I don't feel like I'm rushing through each Sims pregnancy. I can go through and get everything done. They can meet, they can go and meet all their family, tell them, all their friends, everything. I really like pregnancy to be a big thing in The Sims, and I do like to complete all their pregnancy related, things that I've got with mods. Pregnancy percentage should be set to 0 for everyone. So this will stop all random pregnancies happening for any Sims, which is what I want. Bear in mind, all of these settings, they will eventually change when I'm done with the save file and I've got it in a state where I'm happy to like play through the save file. Then I will go and turn on all of these settings and I will go crazy with like the population settings and everything. But for now, while I'm playing through each world, I don't want anything happening that I'm not happy with, which normally is not the way I play, but I'm quite excited for it. I have a lot of mods that add in autonomous deaths, especially when it comes to like healthcare. So more realistic deaths where Sims like have cardiac failure or something. That is fine. I don't like the whole default, like if your Sim gets too playful, they just spontaneously combust, that to me, just pisses me off. And because I've got so many mods that affect the way that Sims feel, their strengths, their feelings are stronger, Sims die all the time. So I'm just not going to do that. Change interaction autonomy. So I like to keep all autonomy on. So if I'm currently playing with Sims, I do want them to be able to autonomously propose to each other. So I'm going to keep that on. So basically every single thing in here, I'm going to keep on other than autonomous marriage. Okay, this stuff, I don't want to touch any of this because honestly, I've got other mods that do all of this stuff. So none of these settings are going to be changed by me. Sims will sleep in beds with other Sims, ignoring relationships. I like this on. Use privacy for woohoo should be enabled, and sleepy woohoo. If 2 Sims woohoo between 10 and 4, they will go to sleep in the bed. Yes. Okay, you know what? I do quite like sometimes when my Sims autonomously do this, especially if they're already together, married, whatever. So let's say yes to this. And let's also give Sims a woohoo skill so that the more they woohoo, the better they get at it. I'm talking about Don Lothario right here because I feel like Don Lothario would definitely have a high woohoo skill. So we'll go for that. Right, okay, so I think that is everything for MC Command Center. So now MC Command Center should be doing nothing towards my save file. Now, technically speaking, I'm not actually in my save file. I just did this in a random save file that I just made. Reason being, I didn't want to load into a save file and then have it automatically generate, NPCs that I didn't want in the world that I'd have to go through and delete. So all these settings that I was just setting up was in a different neighborhood, but MCC applies all the settings across every neighborhood. So it doesn't really matter anyways. We're going to save and exit. And then when we come back, we're going to officially start the new world. But to apply all the effects of everything happening, I need to, save the game. So let's be back. So I'm just gonna go and start like new game in The Sims, the perfect way to do it. Grab a random Sim. Honestly, it doesn't even matter because they're gonna be deleted afterwards anyways. Yeah, and then let's go and set up the neighborhood story settings and just demolish Willow Creek, I guess. Okay, this is a very important selection. Spring, summer, autumn or winter. Okay, normally the way that I do it is I like to play out whatever season I've got in real life. I like to play that out in The Sims. But if I'm realistic about it, obviously the seasons are going to be so much shorter than real life, and I intend to play this series a lot. I think probably just picking spring is the best. Plus, when we want to set up the Sims calendar, I need it to be like starting from the very first day. I want to add in like all my own custom holidays and everything for the save file, which we will do eventually. So I think spring might be best for now. We're officially in. This Willow Creek, trust me, is not going to look like this very long. I do really hate the way that Willow Creek looks in the spring, especially since I'm guessing it's the first day of spring, yeah? So all the trees are disgusting where it's just been winter. It's raining. It's just miserable here. It is the best way to start, I think, especially considering I'll have access to the entire calendar. The only day I won't be able to set a holiday day is Sunday, the very first day of spring. But I'll be able to do it when the holiday season comes back around. So for now, I'm just going to keep the game paused. I'm not going to let the game do anything until I am ready. Let's go and save this save file as my Forever Savefile. It's official. Now that it is officially saved, we need to go in and do neighborhood story settings. So let's go into manage worlds and let's just basically turn off neighborhood stories. I just don't want it messing with any of the Sims. See, the thing is, I do like some level of autonomy when I'm playing the games. I would like if Sims were making new friends or nurturing or damaging their friendship with other Sims while I'm playing with others, you know, I wouldn't mind that too much. So maybe that'll be like the only one that I turn on. Other than that, I just don't want any Sims like joining careers, leaving them, having children, unless I feel like, you know, like that rotation, probably it could be turned on, or maybe that household, I'll turn it on. And then now we're going to do the same thing in here. We're going to go and say that for neighborhood stories, any Sim that is in the world, I want no neighborhood stories applying to them. I don't want any Sims doing anything in any other world. Basically, I want them all in stasis unless I'm not playing with them. That's the idea. Now we are going to move on to basically deleting everything in this save file and starting from scratch. So essentially, I want this, but in my own save file. This was obviously just a picture that I'd used of the world map. But now we are going to go and remove everything and make it look like this, and then start basically planning where everything's going to go. Is there an easier way to bulldoze all the lots other than having to go into build by and to, like, bulldoze them? Do I really have to do that manually for every single lot? I'm going to commit to it. Let's go in and do it. Okay, get a good look, guys. This is the default version of Willow Creek. It won't look like this for very long, let me tell you. I literally can't wait to do a flashback of this, right? Here's the original version of Willow Creek, and then here's the new version. The idea that I'm having is I'm going to add in loads of custom stalls and like benches and things for Sims to do around the world with tool mod. Let's just say I just want to get a set of swings in, maybe over here for the kids, because there is actually already a park over here. So I just go and grab the swings. Let me just choose a nice color that I like that kind of matches that boat, I guess. And then I go and click tool, which is Shift T, click it. And then I can actually place this anywhere in the world, and Sims will actually autonomously use all of these things. I do need a mod where I can move around across the world and not like restricted to the lot. But so for now, I'm struggling a little bit. But now I should be able to rotate it. Yeah, exactly like that. Okay, good. I see I'm getting the hang of tool mod. There we go. The cute little swing right under the tree. Like, come on, that is so sweet. Anyway, should we get back to it? Let's go back to bulldozing the world. So let's go in, bulldoze that. What I am going to do when I'm done with the lot, I'm just going to go and set it to residential, just so that it's not like pinging that there's an issue there. But in general, I think this area of Willow Creek is nice. It just needs a little shaping. Right, so for Willow Creek, I'm just going to go and also move out all of the townies. So let's work on Foundry Cove. This is the world that I'm actually most excited to officially start and like tool mod it up and everything. I love making low income, kind of more grottier areas, especially in The Sims. I just think they're so realistic, you know, not everything's perfect and pretty in real life. There's a lot of places that, you know, they're not so clean and nice. And I actually love that. I love having my Sims live there. I think it's so realistic. These are the style of houses that I'm going to be making or renovating or placing, whatever I decide to do in Willow Creek in this Foundry Cove. So you can kind of get an idea. I want these cars placed out on the side. I want these kind of trees. You can see on the edges of the houses, there are like little walkways, and down there is like broken furniture and everything. I just love this. I feel like it looks so lived in. So yeah, you kind of get the idea here. I want the streets to be busy. I want this street to look like this. Imagine this being Willow Creek. This is actually a renovated version of the BFF's homes. In fact, EA recently went through and renovated all of the townies' homes, but they left all the other homes. So like this home looks so filled out. It looks so detailed in comparison to the other lots that we just deleted, because they only gave these guys new homes and didn't do any of the rest of them. And as much as I love this home, this is so much wasted space, you know, wasted potential. I want the BFFs to be struggling, right? My BFFs are probably going to be like either in university or fresh out of uni, and they're going to be struggling. They're not going to have the money. The reason why they're all living together is because they don't have the money to live and to rent alone. So they're renting together. That's the idea that I'm having for the BFF. So I want 3 homes on here. I want them close together. I want dirt, grime, just everything. So one other idea I had in mind, especially for a lot of the park lots, I don't know if I'm going to do it in Willow Creek, but I'm definitely going to use the idea in some other lots. Instead of actually setting these as park lots, I was thinking about changing these lots to the lots that we got that came with, what did they come with? It was Eco Lifestyle. Community spaces allow the community to vote on each community space, and then it swaps out. So for example, this community space is just the default one. Then you swap to community garden and it is like a different version of that community lot. But the way that I was thinking about doing it is making seasonal lots. A summer festival park that would be the standard community. So say this one is the summer festival. This one, the second one, would be the same lot, but in autumn, for example. So I swap this lot to be this version in autumn, you know, pumpkin picking. Maybe it has different stalls, you know, more like autonomous themed stalls to buy pumpkin spice lattes and things like that. I've also got a bunch of CC items that I'm going to use on these lots. So an example is this thing right here. And this is a raffle ticket stall. So your Sims can obviously use this. These are all interactable, by the way. I know they look incredible. They're all CC, which is crazy. We've also got like a little balloon wagon. Like imagine all of these things and we basically turn park lots into seasonal festivals. I think this could be so fun. So this is an idea that I'm having. I don't know if I'm going to do it in Willow Creek. If you guys think I should, let me know in the description because I still haven't decided yet. Also, they just announced in the newest expansion pack that we are getting custom venues where you can pretty much change the venue to be whatever you want. So like during the daytime, it will have specific things that you do. The way that they described it in the blog post was, say you want like a cafe to be working during the day and then it opens up as a nightclub in the evening. I was thinking, God, how perfect would that be? And setting up loads of community lots that have different schedules. So I could have a community lot, one area of the community lot functions like a cafe during the day, and then another area opens up during the night. The cafe maybe closes. I don't know when the release date was announced. I think it was sometime in October, like October 3rd or something, maybe. I can't remember. But you get the idea, right? Pretty much things will probably end up changing when that pack comes out because I imagine a lot of these lots will change to custom venues and I'll have like specific, you know, things in mind. Willow Creek is ready for the first episode of making my save file, officially the first episode. This was obviously like a little prep episode to get ready. This is the start of Willow Creek. We're obviously going to make it together. We're also going to be giving all of these Sims makeovers. So we've got the Spencer Kim Lewis, the BFFs, the land grabs. How did I forget the land grabs? Oh, that's because they're in Oasis Springs, of course. Sorry, I just lose my mind. The Goth household and also the pancakes. So all of these guys are going to get makeovers, get added back in. I can't wait to play with them and give them all custom lore. I think out of all of these Sims, the Sims that I'm most interested in are the Goths and the pancakes. The pancakes, I just really love their family dynamic. And the Goths, obviously, my beloved, literally played The Sims since The Sims 1. So the Goths are a strong one for me. Also, I had a really good idea in mind. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I wanted to tell you everything that I had planned. I was thinking about sending the Goth kids off to boarding school. And I was thinking about building a custom boarding school. And I was thinking of it like Wednesday Addams. I was thinking, God, Cassandra could be my Wednesday going off to boarding school and just like living out this crazy life. That was another idea that I had in mind for the rotational gameplay. So we could play out a boarding school. I don't know what you guys think, but you'll have to let me know because I feel like that could be really fun. And obviously we could get to know all the other Sims that she would be living in the boarding school with as well because we'd have to make all those townies. So I think it's just going to be really fun. Honestly, I'm so excited. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap up today here. I am absolutely starving. It is literally 9:20 at night and I have not eaten. So your girl is hungry. So I'm going to go grab some foodies because I just ordered Wagamama's. So if you want to join for the very first initial prep episode, I'm going to be live streaming it this weekend. So if you want to join for that, you're more than welcome to. I'm also going to be having a bunch of YouTube videos that I'm going to be recording with this series. And obviously a lot of the gameplay that I do with this series will be specifically YouTube videos as well. But I will also be turning the live streams that I do with this series, anything really interesting that I did in the live streams, I will turn it into a YouTube video. So if you guys just want to watch the YouTube videos, you can just watch them back in their entirety. Yeah, I love you guys. Thank you for all the support recently. Thank you guys for sticking by me, especially considering that I just lost all of my save files. I'm so glad you guys completely understand and you get that it's not my fault and that I did my best. And yeah, I'm just really, really thankful for all of you. So thank you for sticking around for me. I love you all and I will speak to you in the very next episode. Bye guys.